What if the creatures you encounter each day are not random at all? What if the butterfly that dances at your window, the bird that sings relentlessly when your mind grows heavy, the spider that appears in moments of emotional turmoil, what if each of these is a message, not a coincidence, not a distraction, but a sacred signal from the unseen world, a direct response to the transformation of your very soul? You see, my beloved soul, when your spirit begins to awaken, the divine does not always speak in audible words. It whispers through symbols, through nature, through the presence of the very animals. Most people overlook, and yet you have noticed, that is not by chance. That is divine synchronicity, for when your inner world begins to shift, the outer world begins to send subtle, repetitive, holy messages in response. Animals are not mere creatures. They are mirrors to your soul, guides sent for your journey, and when one appears, especially more than once, you must trust that the Creator is speaking directly to you. Today, we will uncover the meaning of 5 sacred animals that almost always appear in your life. Not in a fairy tale, but in the midst of a spiritual awakening. Each one carries a message too powerful to ignore and too precise to be a coincidence. So, if you have felt something deeper in their presence, your intuition was correct. This video is your affirmation, but listen with your entire being. If you dismiss these signs, you may miss the very answer your soul has been silently praying for. This message was sent for you, and once you understand it, everything in your life will never be the same. Before we reveal the first animal, if you feel something stirring within you, if this resonates with part of you that you cannot explain, please like this video, subscribe, and comment 99 below. Why 99? Because in sacred numerology, 9 is the number of spiritual completion, and when it is doubled, it signifies that something is ending so that a grander chapter may begin. This moment, this message, may be the very start of that next chapter for you. Let us begin. 1. The butterfly. The grace of rebirth is knocking upon your soul's door. You do not simply see a butterfly, you feel its presence. There is something in the way it appears delicate, silent, and sudden, as if it did not fly by but materialized in your space, as if it knows a secret you do not. And perhaps it does. When a butterfly appears during your awakening, it is not there to adorn the moment. It is there to interrupt it, to pierce the veil of your routine with a dispatch from the divine. The person you were is no longer a vessel large enough for the person you are becoming. The butterfly comes not to comfort, but to bring about a graceful shattering of the illusion of comfort. Because true spiritual transformation begins not with clarity, but with discomfort, with trapped energy, with a strange restlessness, with a gnawing sense that something in your life is no longer true. No matter how long you have carried it, that is the chrysalis cracking from within. That is your spirit, preparing for flight. The butterfly appears when you are being called to release the tethers that once defined you but now drain you, a job that no longer nourishes your soul, a friendship that is no longer a safe harbor, a version of yourself that shrinks to survive instead of expanding to thrive. You can try to ignore that feeling, even numb it. But the Creator will not, and so He sends a butterfly again and again and again, because repetition is the language of the soul and the butterfly's message is never rushed. Yet it is always urgent. It is time to become who you were born to be. But here is the part most people miss. The butterfly's beauty is not where it begins. It begins in darkness. It begins alone. It begins by dissolving inside a chrysalis until everything it once was is no more. An absolute surrender, that is the price of transformation. So if butterflies are gracing your path right now, you are being called into your own chrysalis, not to hide, but to heal, not to escape, but to evolve. And yes, it may feel lonely. Yes, it may feel as though nothing is happening. But trust me, that dissolution is not the end. It is the preparation for a glorious ascension. Some sacred traditions even believe that butterflies carry messages from ancestors, guardian angels, or departed loved ones. They appear when your heart whispers questions into the quiet expanse, when the veil between worlds grows thin and something greater is trying to reach you. So if you have felt watched over, protected, guided, you are not imagining it. The butterfly does not shout. It glides in gentle yet undeniable to say, "You are not who you were yesterday. Do not live as if you are." And the real question is, are you listening? Because here is a truth few are ready to face. A butterfly chases nothing. It becomes so light, so aligned, so radiant, that it naturally rises. And maybe, just maybe, the reason you have felt so heavy lately is because it is finally time to let go of everything that cannot fly with you. But before you spread your wings, there is something else you must see, because soon after the butterfly appears, something else arrives, something small, yet mighty. And if you overlook it, you might miss the very blueprint for building your new life. Stay with me. You are about to find out what it is. 2. The ant. It is time to rebuild your foundation. Not all spiritual messages are wrapped in splendor. Some arrive quietly, crawling on the floor, overlooked by most, dismissed by many. But to the awakened soul, the message is unmistakable. The ant does not roar, it does not flutter, like the butterfly, or soar like the bird. It walks silently, intentionally. But when it appears, especially in places it should not be, it is delivering a spiritual memorandum you cannot afford to ignore. Your foundation is cracking. It is time to rebuild. Think of where they appear. Your kitchen, your bedroom, your desk, not in the forest, but in your sacred space. And suddenly, they are everywhere. 1, then 5, then a trail. But you hesitate. You reach for the broom. You feel annoyed. But the ants have not come to infest. They have come to expose the chaos, the procrastination, the denial. You see, the ant is a master of sacred order. Every step is backed by intention. Every movement is synchronized with a greater plan. So when they invade your life, they are not just signaling the clutter in your physical home. They are pointing to the chaos in your mind, your habits, your energy field. And here is the hard truth. Spiritual awakening without structure is merely chaos adorned with candles. You cannot build higher if the ground beneath you is not solid. The ants will appear when you are dreaming big, but your daily life cannot sustain those dreams. They whisper, slow down, simplify, fortify your foundation, and there is more. The most overlooked message of the ant is this: you were never meant to do this alone. Look at them. They do not work in isolation, they collaborate. They are a reminder that asking for help is not weakness. It is the pinnacle of wisdom, that your sacred moment often requires a sacred community. That trying to carry the world on your shoulders is the fastest way to collapse under its weight. So if you have been quietly pushing forward on your own, refusing to delegate, avoiding rest, telling yourself "I have got this," while every part of your life screams the opposite, the ant is here to break that illusion, to ask, where are you overworking out of fear? Where are you pretending to be stable just to keep things from falling apart? Their remedy is humble, yet profoundly effective, because they do not just survive, they build empires from dust, one piece at a time, one sacred habit at a time, one step in alignment with the soul at a time. So perhaps your next spiritual breakthrough is not another retreat or ritual. Perhaps it is cleaning your room, organizing your schedule, writing down your priorities and cutting out the non-essential. Perhaps your soul does not need more information. Perhaps it needs integration. And when you begin, when you finally quiet the noise and lay the first intentional brick of your new foundation, everything changes, because the moment your inner world becomes stable, the outer world stops fighting against you. But do not stop yet, because the next animal does not walk, it does not crawl. It flies directly into your life with a message from a higher realm. And what it has to say may be the answer to the question you have been too afraid to ask aloud. 3. The birds of heaven. The divine is speaking. Are you listening? There are signs that do not just appear in your life. They descend. They arrive not with thunder, but with wings, not with chaos, but with clarity. They show up just when your heart is heavy and your mind is loud. And they do something strange, something you cannot explain. A sudden tap on the window, a bird that lands too close, a song that is too a coincidence, number that is a graceful intervention in the realm of spiritual awakening. Birds are not background noise. They are divine messengers, spiritual conduits, carrying frequencies from the unseen realm, from heaven, from your guides, from your own soul, desperately trying to cut through the static. Every bird is a vibration, each species an encoded message. And once you start paying attention, you will realize they have been trying to reach you all along. The hummingbird brings not just beauty, it carries joy amidst despair. It hovers when you have forgotten how to be still. It appears when you need sweetness more than solutions. The crow, so often misunderstood, is one of the most powerful messengers of spiritual transformation. It does not herald death, it signals rebirth. It circles when something in your life must be laid to rest, so that something greater can be born. And the songbird's persistent melody outside your window, when you cannot sleep, it is not trying to entertain you. It is trying to remind you joy still lives here. Even now, even after everything. Birds do not appear to fill the silence. They appear to break your rhythm, to lift your head from the ground, and remind you that you are not just flesh and anxiety. You are spirit. You are vast, and you are not alone. But here is what most people miss. Birds do not just communicate what is happening. They signal what is to come. A woman lost in grief once told a story. Every day, at the same hour, a single dove would land on her balcony. Same time, same spot, no explanation. At first, she ignored it. Then she began to listen, and one day, the dove stayed longer. And for the first time in months, she cried, not from pain, but from release. She said it felt as if her soul had been waiting for permission to finally exhale. That is what the birds do. They bring the permission your soul has been waiting for, to let go, to forgive, to hope again. Likewise, if a bird keeps circling you, if it keeps returning, if it will not leave you alone, that is not nature. That is a divine redirection. Your soul is being recalibrated, reoriented, reconnected. But here is the test. Will you stop long enough to receive it? Because in a world drowning in noise, only the still can hear heaven. And heaven does not always send signs through prophets or dreams. Sometimes it sends them on feathers. So listen, not just with your ears, but with your awareness. Because once the bird has flown, the message shifts. And what comes next is not subtle. It does not flutter or float. It weaves. It waits. It watches from the shadows. and it may hold the key to breaking the very cycles you have been trapped in for years. 4. The spider. You are weaving what you cannot yet see. Not every divine sign comes with wings or a melody. Some arrive in the quiet, in the stillness, in the corners of your life you try not to look at. The spider does not announce itself. It waits. It builds. It knows. And when it begins appearing on your ceiling, in your shower, on the edge of the mirror, just as you stare at your own reflection, it is not there to scare you. It is there to reveal a truth to you. In spiritual symbolism, the spider is the keeper of the web, not just a physical web, but the energetic tapestry you have woven with every thought, belief, memory, emotion, and fear. You may think you are just existing, just getting by, but in the world of spirit, every habit you repeat, every emotion you cling to, every choice you avoid it, is all a thread. And that thread, it is forming a pattern, a design, a destiny. The spider does not ask, "What are you doing?" It asks, "What are you creating?" without realizing it. It appears when you are stuck in a loop, when you ask, "Why does this keep happening to me?" when the faces change, but the pain remains the same, when your life feels like déjà vu. That is when the spider emerges, to say, "This is not random. This is a web, and you are the weaver." It does not rush you, it does not panic. It reminds you of something you have forgotten in the chaos. Creation takes time, true. Lasting transformation requires sacred patience. The most divine structures are not built overnight. They are made thread by patient thread, but here is the crux of it all. The same power that creates a trap can also create a bridge. It all depends on your awareness. Are you weaving a reality that empowers you, or one that tethers you to who you no longer wish to be? The spider asks you to look deeper at your patterns, your emotional reflexes, your spiritual autopilot, and then consciously to choose what you will weave next. But be warned, ignoring her does not make the web disappear. It only entangles you further within it. She teaches that sometimes what feels like stagnation is actually sacred construction, and sometimes what feels like nothing happening on the outside is actually everything being rewired on the inside. A man once spoke of a time when spiders began appearing everywhere, in his car, his closet, even his dreams. At first he panicked, but the more he ran, the more they appeared, until one day he stopped running, and he realized he was replaying the exact same emotional cycle in every relationship, including the one with himself. That single realization unraveled the entire web of his invisible chains, and that is the beauty of the spider. She will not force the truth upon you. She will just keep spinning until you are ready to see it. So if you have been seeing spiders, dreaming of them, or feeling your life quietly repatterning itself behind the scenes, know this: you are not trapped. You are weaving. But what you are weaving now is either your next breakthrough or your next breakdown. So choose wisely, because once the web is complete, it becomes the reality you live in. And just when you think you have understood the rules, the divine sends you something wild, unexpected, and primal. It does not float or crawl. It leaps into your path, not to warn you, but to cleanse you. 5. The frog. Release the old. It is time for purification. The frog does not enter your life politely. It leaps in from the darkness, from the mud, from nowhere, but somehow it is always right on time. And when it happens, you feel it. That jolt, that moment of, what is this trying to tell me? Because deep down, your soul knows. This is no accident. This is a sacred summons. In the language of spirit, The frog is not a symbol of luck or fear. It is the gatekeeper of profound transformation, a guide between the seen and the unseen, a creature that lives between earth and water, the physical and the emotional, the material and the spiritual. It comes when the waters within you have grown stagnant and toxic, when you have held on to too much pain, when you have stored too many secrets, when you are weighed down by a grief you promised yourself you were over. But the body remembers, the spirit remembers. And when it is time to clear it all out, the frog appears. It says nothing. It does not comfort. It confronts, and it speaks without a single word. You are full. It is time to empty yourself. Maybe it has been years since you have truly cried, since you let the dam break, since you screamed into the silence, or wrote down the truth you swore to bury forever. Maybe you have been wearing the mask of I am fine, but inside, your soul is suffocating. The frog does not care about appearances. It does not care how spiritual you look. It only cares about what you are holding that is no longer yours to carry. Have you ever noticed how frogs appear after the rain, after the storm has passed, when everything smells of renewal? It is as if the earth itself has just taken a long cleansing breath. That is the invitation. Let the rains fall within your own soul. Let the pain surge. Let the sorrow be felt. Let the guilt speak, not to shame you, but to leave you, because the frog brings purification, not punishment. Some say it is the animal spirit of the shaman. Others say it appears to those on the verge of a new life, but who are still clinging to the old one. And if you see a frog on your path, especially at night or right after an emotional event, your soul is being summoned to a ritual of release. Perhaps it is time to write down every secret you have kept and burn the page. Time to take a salt bath and weep without shame. Time to speak your truth to the one who still echoes in your bones. Time to forgive yourself for not knowing how to let go sooner. The frog does not promise immediate peace, but it promises a cleansing, and with that cleansing comes clarity, and with clarity comes courage, and with courage comes rebirth. So if the frog has leaped into your world, do not step over it, do not dismiss it. Listen, because the very thing you have been asking the universe for, a sign, a shift, a breakthrough, may be waiting for you on the other side of that release. And once you let go, you will rise. But here is the most sacred secret the frog leaves behind. The final layer of transformation comes not from effort, it comes from surrender. And now that you have heard the whisper of the butterfly, the discipline of the ant, the song of the bird, the pattern of the spider, and the cleansing call of the frog, it is time. It is time to step back. It is time to see the whole tapestry, because when all 5 of these messengers appear, it means something deeper is awakening within you, something irreversible, something holy. And in these final moments of this message, you are going to feel it. You used to call it coincidence. You used to call it nature. Now you know better that butterfly was not just beautiful. It was calling you to transform those ants, guiding you to rebuild from the inside out. The bird's song, a direct message from the divine. Are you still listening? The spider in the corner, a mirror to the very patterns you have been trapped in. And the frog, not a nuisance, but a ceremony of release. They did not come to decorate your life. They came to awaken it, because when you begin to see differently, you begin to live differently. The Creator does not knock. He does not shout. He whispers on wings, through webs in rain, soaked footsteps in the dark, and only those who are already truly ready will understand. You are not going crazy. You are not imagining things. You are not alone. You are being opened up to a deeper awareness, to a sacred responsibility, to a life where everything, every moment, every creature, every shadow has meaning. So now, chosen soul, I ask you, will you honor what you have seen here today? Will you walk forward with your eyes and your spirit wide open? Because nothing will ever be the same, not your home, not your thoughts, not the way you walk in this world, You have been marked by the signs, and they have led you here. You went I am listening. Write it as a declaration. Let it mark this as the day you woke up. And if this message ignited something within you, share it. Let it find its way to the other souls who need to remember what their instincts have been whispering for years, because the truth belongs to no one. It ripples, it spreads, it awakens the world, one heart at a time. You have seen the signs, you have heard the call. Now it is your turn to answer. You are not the same person who pressed play. You have been touched by something deeper. And from this moment on, you do not just walk the path. You walk with purpose and with vision. With a holy fire in your soul, go forth, become the one the signs always knew you were born to be. Awakened,